The next one is the filter function. Okay, what is a filter function? The filter function, okay, it is a table function. Even the filter is also a table function. It is both a table as well as an iterator function. This is what you need to remember it. So as I've been discussing about the iterator function, since I started the DAX topic, right? The iterator function ends with x, sum x, average x, count x, count ax, average ax, x. The functions that ends with x. Those are all iterator function. Those iterator function, it will iterate each and every row in your data set. But the filter function is also an iterator function, and also it is a table function. Okay, here this one is not end with x. Since the filter function, right, the filter doesn't ends with x, that doesn't mean it is not an iterator function. You need to remember this, okay? It is both a table as well as the iterator because it returns a table. Okay, what this filter function does is it returns a table based on one or more filter expressions. Okay, it returns a table. Then why we call it an iterator? Okay. Okay, so in this case, it creates a row context for each row of the table in the first argument. In the first argument is your table, right? So which makes it possible to evaluate the condition evaluate the condition. So look here it scans this table. In this case, what happens while scanning it, row by row, it has to evaluate the expression, whatever you specified as part of your filter conditions. For example, country equal to United Kingdom. That filter condition has to be evaluated row by row. And at the same time, the filter function, right? It is in general, we use it to reduce the number of rows to scan because the filter also accesses different filter arguments, right? Where you can reduce the number of rows that you want to bring back from your virtual table, okay? The simple example is, okay, for example, here, it creates a virtual table, okay? That you need to remember it. The table, the first argument is a table. You need to specify the table that needs to be filtered, which means the table, which you want to take the subset of the data. And then next one is the Boolean expression. The Boolean expression that needs to be evaluated for each row of the table. Hence, it has to iterate each and every row. Look here, this is the example. I want to sum of sales. This is nothing but sum of sales. As I told you, a measure can be used in another measure. The sales is more than 200 is a measure, new measure we are going to create it. In this one, I am going to reuse a previously created measure. You can use a measure in another measure. Okay, this is nothing but sum of sales. Here, what I do is don't do the sum of sales for the entire table of fact sales. What you do is, for those sales we made more than 200, only for this subset of the data, you find the total sales. In this case, the table expression, right, or the filter, what it does is behind the scene, it creates a virtual table. See the DAX engines, right? Behind the scene, the DAX engines are creating, this virtual engine. This is a virtual table, the virtual calculator table, and this is the filtered version of your facts sales table in the background. Okay, once this table is created, what DAX is doing here is it evaluates the total sales measure against this filter table. That's it. The interview they ask you. So in the case of filter function, right? So what is going to happen? If I use a filter function, what is going to happen? DAX engines behind the scene, it creates a calculator table. It's a virtual table. And then if you wrap the filter function inside the calculate, right? In the calculate, for example, in the calculate, the first argument is my expression, sum of sales. So in that case, what will happen is it will apply the sum of sales on this virtual table. That's all, guys. Maybe, right, they'll ask you to share your screen. They will share their screen. They will say, they'll ask you, right? So how this measure is getting evaluated, So behind this, in what sense we have used the filter function, It creates the virtual table based on the filter criteria, whatever we mentioned. On top of this, it applies some other thing. That's all. This is how it is being evaluated. The filter function also returns a table. Okay. So can I go ahead and create the filter function here? For example, I just go here and click on the new table. Can I use it as a standalone function? Do I have to use it all the time inside the calculate function? That is the question. I just go here. The filter table. The filter table UK, something like that. Okay, here what it is, filter function. The table is here the sales W04, comma, country is equal to United Kingdom. Yes, no error, right? So, and if you see here, if you go to the data view, what is the name that I've given it for this filter, right? Somewhere I've given the filter. Look here, filter table UK. Look here, if I select this one, it gives me the filter function, right? Using filter function also, we can create the subset of the, we can create the subset of the table, right? Okay, and using calculate table also, we can create the subset of the data. Then what is the difference between calculate table and filter function? This is the next question. Okay, you just remember this, filter function will not do the context transition, whereas the calculate table will do the context transition. Like calculate function, the calculate table also does the context transition. Okay,